Thank you. All right. Thank you for joining Pontiac WYAC tonight. We are back. It's been a minute. 1, 2, 3. Let me turn myself up. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Turn myself up. Here we go. Here we go. All right. All right. We good to go. So yeah, there's some things to talk about today. What's up, everybody? I'd like to say happy Friday. We made it. I made it. Welcome. We're going to be talking about a couple things tonight. If you want to chime in, you could definitely chime in. The Pistons is hot. And going crazy. We're talking about the Pistons tonight. Not only that, we're going to be talking about Jesse Jackson, and talk about some things with him. Also, we're going to be talking about today, also the Supreme Court ruled today that tariffs were cut or something. I need to fully understand a grasping of, but I got my take on that. So we could probably talk about that. So I would like to say, welcome to Pontiac WYAC. If you please, go ahead and you can if you want to be on the show, let me know. I'll send you a link. I got a phone number you guys can call if you would like. You can also call the line and come on today. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit the share for me. So I'm about to hashtag Pontiac right now. Hashtag Pontiac. Boom. All right, cool. So in a nutshell, you guys, this week, I know Jesse Jackson had just passed away a couple of days ago. 2 days, I think. It's been 2 days. And it was apparent that Jesse hasn't been doing good for a while. I remember health-wise, I remember during the election cycle that they his family brought him out during the Democratic convention. And he wasn't walking on his own, more or less. Jesse Jackson had his family wheel him out and tried to give him, time or whatever to say or give his endorsement to Kamala Harris. And you can see Jesse was in a, weakened state of physical condition. But Jesse Jackson has, gone on. I picked up this saying maybe like a couple of days ago. I picked up this saying, Jesse has went on to reap his reward, and whatever that reward may be, Jesse Jackson has went on to get it. So Jesse Jackson it's a mixed bag a little bit. A lot of people see him one way. Some people see him another. Jesse has been around for a long time before I was even thought of doing a lot of things in the Black community and for supposedly some Black equal rights or stuff like that. Then it's crazy stuff that's been said about Jesse Jackson since he passed. Some people saying that he had something to do with MLK in assassination, or him thinking that he was going to be the one after MLK passed. And there's been some crazy stuff that was said about him, but these are things that I've heard about Jesse Jackson before. Jesse Jackson did come to the city of Pontiac, where I am. Jesse Jackson has came to the city of Pontiac within, I say, the last. I went to go see Jesse Jackson when he visited the church, and my encounter with Jesse Jackson I didn't like it. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a personal one-on-one with him, but it was just the fact that, and I talked about this actually my last live stream, that I actually talked about Jesse Jackson. This was like maybe 2 weeks ago, around the Super Bowl time, and how he came to a local church in Pontiac, Michigan, but it seemed to me that his whole plight was to try to get some money. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like that was the whole conversation that I got from it. And it was from actually him and Al Sharpton, Him and Al Sharpton actually visited the city of Pontiac. I seen them both equally once, but this was like maybe 10, 11 years ago. I seen both. They came separate occasions. And both occasions I seen, and it was just more or less of they came and asking poor people for money for the coalitions that they were a part of. Me personally, got up and I just left. I didn't really like it, my encounter and my experience. But that doesn't take away from what my experience is, maybe what you think of individual and what their contribution was or they contributed to society. I base my opinion on encounters, you know what I mean, that I get and how I feel. Doesn't negate what he's done positive and around the country and around the world. You know what I'm saying? So I just felt like if Al Sharpton and them come into a small city that's kind of impoverished or whatever the case may be at that time, don't be coming just asking the people for money. And that's kind of honestly what I saw when Al Sharpton visited Pontiac maybe around 10 years ago. And then Jesse Jackson did visit Pontiac around around 10 years ago. And he was at a local church. And, you know, it just seemed like he was asking for money from people that didn't have it. And then people were actually, upset about that. And then I don't know where the money went that helped, that he got. But neither here or there. We as black people, I'll be wondering, a lot of times, when it comes to, black quote unquote leadership and people that people deem as leaders in the black community, far as civil rights leaders. And I'll be wondering, do we really actually even have any that's really pure at heart and want for the people, the good of the people? Are we past that point at this time of where we are? And did that die when MLK and Malcolm X passed? Did those true leaders or those people, did that spirit die with them? And then those people that rose up as quote unquote leaders, were they more worried about individual success and prosperity for themselves? Because the leaders that kind of rose up, and this is tell me how you guys think, the leaders that rose up after Malcolm X and the leaders that rose up after Malcolm X, the true leaders, the put it like this, the leaders that were put in front of us that came up after Malcolm X and Dr. Martin Luther King, were they genuine? And I think a lot of times, or black youth growing up in the 80s and the 90s fell away from quote unquote black leadership or the people that deemed themselves the leaders of the time, because it seemed like it was a capitalistic type of journey for them, or national notoriety, instead of being, really for the people. So I'm not saying that's Jesse Jackson, okay? I'm just saying that a lot of times what I noticed with my experience in observing and looking, that's what turned off a lot of black youth from quote unquote black leadership. I wish Jesse Jackson a peaceful journey. We all got to travel down that road one day or another. If we ain't here, if we ain't hanging around during the second coming, you know what I'm saying? But he's had a long life. He had a long life. Some don't make it that old, and he impacted, if you like it or not, he's impacted plenty of people. He impacted plenty of lives, and I'm positive that he impacted some people in a very positive way. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and I guess when we all travel down that road, some people going to have some good and some bad. So the best thing to do, or, you know, about us. So the best thing to do, I believe, is go ahead and try to live your life how you feel is the best way to live your life. And live your life with knowing that eternally you got somewhere else to be outside of here. I think if you live your life with the thought pattern of, you know, this is a speck. This is the analogy that I give people or have gave people before. Imagine your life is a speck of sand, right? Imagine your life is a speck of sand, and that speck of sand is in the Mojave Desert. Okay? And that speck of sand is you. In the Mojave Desert, where there's plenty of sand, is eternity. So just think about that. We're just a speck, and only here for a fraction of a moment in time. So, you know, shout out to Jesse Jackson for the things that he's done and impact in the life that he's had impacted. You know, we go from there. We just keep going and we learn from the people that we learn from and get what we get from the people that came before us. And, you know, we keep going. Second thing I would like to go ahead and talk about is what happened today with the tariffs. So I will open up the phone lines. If people would like to call in, you can call in. I've seen plenty of clips today. 248-905-1128, 248-905-1128, 248-905-1128. You can call in. If you like, the phone line is open. If you would like to go ahead and join the show, you can. You can. So today, the Supreme Court had ruled down tariff action that the president, Donald Trump, had enacted basically almost since he became the president. And with that happening is a lot of people are happy about that. I like to get y'all opinions about that ultimately. But there also is a caveat, not only, you know, just because of the tariffs have been, quote unquote, stopped in a certain way. There is another way he laid down the hammer and continued the tariffs to continue in another way. So I would like to get you guys' opinion on this. You know what I mean? Tell me what you think about what the tariffs were. We're going to play a little bit of what the president had to say about today's interaction.
On a foreign country's ability to conduct trade with the United States under IEEPA has been fully confirmed by this decision. So now there's no doubt, because, you know, there were a lot of questions about tariffs because no president was smart enough to use them to protect our country from those countries and businesses that were ripping us off. You took a look at the deficits that we had with some of these countries. It was disgraceful what they got away with for many, many decades. But now we know, because this decision affirms all those things that some people weren't sure about. In order to protect, and it says so, in order to protect our country, a president can actually charge more tariffs than I was charging in the past period of a year.
So we're going to continue to play that. But who believed that tariffs was not a great thing? And are you happy? Whoever's watching, whoever's listening, are you happy? Are you happy that the tariffs have been suspended or enacted by the Supreme Court? Tell me how you feel about this. Are you happy? Are you happy that the ruling happened? What effect do you think that's going to happen as far as internationally, nationally? Because at this moment there is 100 The country had collected, from my understanding, in between 150 and almost $200 billion worth of tax revenue from different countries around the world. Now, when the Supreme Court enacted that ruling today, it didn't give instructions on where does those billions of dollars that were taken in from the federal government, billions, 150 to 200 billion dollars that were taken in, they did not give a course of action on what to do with those tariff monies. So, are they going to rule that, it's just stayed in limbo if these countries like Canada, China, Spain, whomever, because these tariffs were collected from different countries from around the world, if these countries decide to say, hey, what we paid you in tariffs, we since the United States Supreme Court ruled it illegal or whatever the case may be, we want those tariffs back. Do we give that money back, basically, in a nutshell? Far as, because the Supreme Court did not rule in a certain way that those tariffs had to be forfeited back to those country we use them, or what? So a lot of those, what people are not talking about is that a lot of that tariff revenue was spent on American systems like farmers. A lot of those tariffs were spent on government workers. There is a current, and I just had this conversation, there is a current partial government shutdown. So those tariffs also paid salaries that were taken in. The tariffs also paid the United States military during the time of the full government shutdown. So tariffs that were collected were doing some work, basically revenue collected, paying certain things or paying different parts of services that the United States government would pay, that usually probably would come from our tax money, was actually coming from tariffs collected. So I was wondering, how do you guys feel about that overall? And do you feel like countries should pay their equal share to the United States? What do you feel? Do you think countries should pay their equal share to the United States for what the United States offers them? At the end of the day, the United States is the biggest consumer for a lot of these countries. So if these countries did not have the consumership of the United States, if a lot of these countries didn't have the United States that actually bought products from them, they would not survive. So, for instance, a country like Sweden, they depend on the United States to be basically its number one consumer. If the United States does not consume from Sweden, Sweden has no economy. It's the same with Canada. So you have the United States that buys a lot of product from Canada, Sweden, but in turn, these countries, from my understanding and knowledge, is that these countries do not buy from the United States. So, and that's mainly because the United States doesn't produce a lot of things. Okay. So that has to change. That totally has to change. That the United States needs to start going ahead and being manufacturers and being producers instead of full-time buyers all the time. That's like you at your home. That's like you at your home or at your place. All you do is buy all the time on Amazon, buying. So this is what happened. Take it to the home level. You sit on Amazon all day, you get a little bit of money, buy. But you don't earn or have any money that replenishes the bucket. You're just a consumer. And if you're just a consumer, you're dependent. You're dependent. You have to produce something that produces some type of income, so you're independent or partially independent in a way. So that's where the United States really has to get towards and to. And I believe that up under, this presidentship of this, we're going that way. So at the end of the day, I feel like the Supreme Court did what they did. Really wasn't a big surprise, but it was, I guess, to some people, including him. But I believe that with that being said, now something different is going to happen. So let's go ahead and play and let's hear.
Under the various tariff authorities, so we can use other of the statutes, other of the tariff authorities, which have also been confirmed.
All right. There we go ahead. There we go.
Allowed. Therefore, effective immediately, all national security tariffs under Section 232 and existing Section 301 tariffs, they're existing, they're there, remain in place, fully in place, and in full force and effect. Today, I will sign an order to impose a 10% global tariff under.
So now what's happening, now that the Supreme Court issued that a portion or a section, this is what people are not understanding. I don't got the full understanding, but hey, I ain't looking to be the all-knowing, but I'm trying to understand as much as possible. People I'm seeing on social media, they thinking that tariffs have been just wiped out. That's not the case. There are different laws and other parts of laws that impose, that gives the president right to not only still enforce a tariff, but also gives the president the right to say, you know what, completely stop doing trade with one country, name be it whomever, Spain, China, whomever he wants to, without congressional support, without congressional approval, without Supreme Court approval. So now he can be like, well, with this ruling, what it really did, it gave him more actual latitude to enforce a tariff. It gave them a stronger hand, and I think people don't quite understand how this actually worked and how it kind of is now. Like this actually kind of, didn't work out, I believe, the way that they thought. But let's listen.
Section 122, over and above our normal tariffs already being charged. And we're also initiating several Section 301 and other investigations to protect our country from unfair trading practices of other countries and companies. The Supreme Court's ruling on tariffs is deeply disappointing, and I'm ashamed of certain members of the court, absolutely ashamed, for not having the courage to do what's right for our country. I'd like to thank and congratulate Justices Thomas, Alito, and Kavanaugh for their strength and wisdom and love of our country, which is right now very proud of those justices. When you read the dissenting opinions, there's no way that anyone can argue against them. There's no way. Foreign countries that have been ripping us off for years are ecstatic. They're so happy. And they're dancing in the streets, but they won't be dancing for long, that I can assure you. The Democrats on the court are thrilled, but they will automatically vote no. They're an automatic no, just like in Congress. They're an automatic no. They're against anything that makes America strong, healthy, and great again. They also are a, frankly, disgrace to our nation, those justices. They're an automatic no, no matter how good a case you have. It's a no. But you can't knock their loyalty. It's one thing you can do with some of our people. Others think they're being politically correct, which has happened before far too often with certain members of this court, and it's happened so often with this court. What a shame. Having to do with voting in particular, when in fact they're just being fools and lapdogs for the rhinos and the radical left Democrats, and not that this should have anything at all to do with it. They're very unpatriotic and disloyal to our Constitution. It's my opinion that the court has been swayed by foreign interests and a political movement that is far smaller than people would ever think. It's a small movement. I won by millions of votes. We won in a landslide. With all the cheating that went on, there was a lot of it, but we still won in a landslide. Too big to rig. But these people are obnoxious, ignorant, and loud. They're very loud. And I think certain justices are afraid of that. They don't want to do the right thing. They're afraid of it. This was an important case to me, more as a symbol of economic national security, and also, I would say, just for our country itself, so important, because we're doing so well as a country. We've never done so well. The good news is that there are methods, practices, statutes,
So as we see or hear, as we see and hear, the Supreme Court have ruled that tariffs are to halt as they are at the moment, and that's what it is at the moment, right now, and things are subject to change, or breaking news will be coming up real soon about that. So I would just, say to all that my whole stance on this whole thing, because I've been watching things politically, I've been kind of trying to stay abreast and keeping my knowledge up to par. At the end of the day, I just want the country that I'm in, you know what I'm saying? The country that you're in right now, here, the USA. It ain't always been the greatest, the best, the good. We know the dirt and the grime and all of that. But this is where we at. And a lot of people don't want to seem to, for some reason, it to win. You know what I mean? It's like every other country or other things before us. I don't even see how people seeing how the tariffs are really hurting them. People look, I don't know. If you got a tariff for another country, there's in my opinion, Canada, China, these countries should be paying a tariff. As much as China really gets, and Canada or whatever gets from the United States, they should. Also, I would like to say I've seen a lot of people. This was a big controversial thing I want to go ahead and talk about. This is another thing I want to talk about. And I'm going to bring this up. Whoever's online, stay with me real quick. I want to bring this up. The Black History Month situation, and let's listen. This is very interesting, and I want to talk about this or listen in on this, and I want to hear what you guys got to say about this. I want you to tell me what you feel about this lady and her opinion of what's going on, okay? So y'all stick with me. Let's listen to this.
Please, thank you very much. Yes, come on. Oh, yeah. Oh.
You guys tell me what you think about this, because I'm hearing a lot of black people call black people a lot of names that went to the White House. And actually, one of my cousins, the guy that eulogized my father, got invited to the White House. Eulogized my father, my cousin. He got invited, and people just go, let's listen in and say, I want to hear what you got to say.
Help her up. We don't want any mistakes. Come on in. Thank you. Yes, you can. Thank you. That's so nice. I like her. Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over. Because he allowed his constituents, his people to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats, get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him.
Let's take it back from the beginning and let some people come on in and be able to hear what's going on.
So nice. I like
Let's
her.
listen.
Please.
I like him too. One thing I like about him, he keeps it real just like Grandma. I appreciate that because I can trust him because he tells exactly how he feels and what he thinks. Thank God for this president. I am filled, my cup runneth over.
I want to know what you guys think about what this lady is saying. Your opinion about the Black History Month moments or the Black History situation at the White House. Like I said, my cousin, which eulogized my father at his funeral, was invited to the White House. You know, I see a lot of people saying bad and terrible things about other Black people that went to the Black History, call them all types of names. Like, I want to hear what you guys got to say about, but listen to what the lady's saying.
Because he allowed his constituents, his people, to come to my house to interview me, to talk about the murder of my grandson. It seemed like nobody cared. I'm an advocate for murder. I marched, I rallied, I pulled out other families in the District of Columbia that had murders and did not have answers. Ooh. We marched and we rallied, and nobody heard me, Democrats, get mad at me. Until this Republican sent his constituents, his people out there to interview me in my home. Have you ever heard of a thing? Then they invited me twice before Congress to testify for the beautiful bill that's going to change crime in the district. If you kill somebody, okay, you take a life, you do life. Just that simple. If you do a harsh crime, you do harsh time. Just that simple. And then we need National Guard, and which we did years ago. He brought it on. I love him. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say about that racist stuff. And don't be looking at me on the news, hating on me because I'm standing up for somebody that deserves to be standing up for. Get off the man's back. Let him do his job. He's doing the right thing. Back up off him. And Grandma said it.
All right. Yeah, you can turn back. So what do y'all think about that? I just got a message that said another coon. Another coon. I just got a message. I ain't gonna call your name out, but I just got a message. Hey, I sent you the person that said another coon. I sent you a message email where you can jump on if you like via the program. You can jump on if you like. I just sent you the link. You can pop on. But this is what I'm saying. During Black History Month, we got other black people calling each other coons because they don't agree. I'm not going to call another black person a slur because they don't agree with me on a political tip. But it seems like that's what black people been doing that don't agree with them. And I think what's happening is forcing a lot of black people to look at themselves and be like, you know what? I ain't like these people for real, that are calling people names for having different ideals. And what's happening is you're making people actually jump ship. I think at the end of the day, everybody has their right. Now, you know, I can't say the person, a coon, that actually did the eulogy for my father. He was there at the, I wish I had the number to call him. He's in Memphis, Tennessee, and he's a bishop. And he does a lot of good things in the city, and he's business owner. But I believe he's, you know, I believe he's a Trump supporter. But would you call him a coon? You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I know a lot of people was upset about seeing black people at the White House. And if that's the case, I'm going to go full circle here. If that's the case, I'm going to go full circle here. Because if that black person is a coon, then is let's pull up somebody, and I just want to know. I just want to pull something up real quick. Let me pull something up. Let's keep it real. If black people that support, you know what I'm saying, Republicans or Trump is a coon, then does this make that's
my friend with the other wing.
Does that make him a coon? Because at this press conference, this is when Jesse Jackson was actually getting a bunch of favors from Donald Trump. Let's listen.
Things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who is an effective builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
So what's this about? That's all I'm saying. What is this? What is this about? The man that just passed away. Is he a coon? This is a room full of black people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, I don't think people really understand or know what they asking or saying at the end of the day. It's just, it's funny. It's funny when I think about it, look at it overall. But you know, it's just what it is, I guess. It's just what it is. So, I mean, again, I wanted to come on today for a little bit. I haven't been able to come on as much as I wanted to the last couple of days. I've been doing a heck of a lot of movement, you guys. I've been pretty busy lately. And I said today, you know what? I got to come back down. I got to go ahead and start back talking again and get back on the podcast a little bit and kick it. And so, you know, truthfully, a lot of times what we do here is we talk a lot about politics, but there's other stuff that's going on besides that. But primarily politics is what I like to talk about and things that's going on around the city of Pontiac. But you know what? We want to be global. We want to be a little bit more further along than just where I'm at. Just, you know, my thing is, you know, have an opportunity to go ahead and come on, talk to the people, let people have opportunity to go ahead and talk and say some things that they may want to say and have a good time. And not only just having a good time, we may disagree for a little bit or whatever the case may be, but that's okay. But like I said, at the end of the day, you can't call somebody a coon. You can't call somebody a coon if this is what we're getting at. Let's listen one more time since you're here. Listen.
So the challenges and opportunities. And so this, a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
Again, so was the man a racist when he was giving money? You know what I mean? Like, this is what tripping me out about black people. For real, for real. The man wasn't considered all of that until he started to run for president. You ain't never heard of the man being a racist before then. But it's crazy. And that's why, you know, honestly, it's like, I think what's happening is what people don't understand is what's happening is this. The more that you fight or go against the guy, the more you making people turn toward it. It's like, it's almost kind of like when your mama and your dad tell you don't do something, then you gravitate towards it. That's what's kind of happening. And now people got looking at all this stuff from way back from when he did this and was doing that and helping a lot of people. Now people are like, yo, his track record ain't lining up with what you guys are saying. So if that lady that was at the White House, we just showed, if that lady that's what was at the White House that we just showed is a quote unquote coon, then I'm not saying it, but this is from the ideal of what somebody just said. When I just showed a moment ago, a black person, let's keep it real. The comments that I've been seeing about black people that have been at the White House for the Black History celebration. I've been hearing people and seeing people call people coons, porch monkeys, Sambos, all of this and all of that. All types of crazy names, calling black people all types of this and all types of that went to the White House for Black History Month. Now, let me ask you, this fella here who just passed away, that was a friend of the guy, asked for money, got money, used his facilities as a headquarters, got donations, and got helped out by, is he a coon too? Because right here, he's singing the man's praises.
Building for the builder of people. Last year, he was a part of
Let's go ahead.
of his board. He came to our of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too.
Listen.
To give us space that is of such. Thank you for that, Roger Ailes.
Listen.
I now want to bring forth a friend who has, he is deceptive in that his social style is of such. One can miss his seriousness and his commitment, for his success is beyond argument. When we opened this Wall Street project and we talked about it, he gave us space at 40 Wall Street, which was to make a statement about our having a presence there. And beyond that, in terms of reaching out and being inclusive, he's done that too. And created for many people a comfort zone when I ran for the presidency in 84 and 88. And many others thought it was either laughable or something to avoid. He came to our business meeting here in New York because he has this sense of the curious and a will to risk to make things better. And so aside from all of his style and his pizzazz, he's a serious person who is an effective builder of building with a builder of people. Last year, he was a part of our workshop, of our panel workshop on what are the challenges and opportunities. And so a year later, Donald Trump, for a few minutes, challenges and opportunities to embrace the underserved communities. Donald Trump.
All right. So what didn't change now from then? So if this lady that we just saw not too long ago, if you've been watching at the White House, if she's a coon, what does that make him? Let's go to the end. And I'm about done.
Let me show you something that makes me furious every time I see it. This is a real tax return from someone making $280.
So, yeah, let me go to the end and then I'm done because my point be proved quick. Like I don't need a lot of time.
But we'll figure a way. There's always a way. And thank you, Jesse, and congratulations.
And with all of that wealth, Trump wants a free ticket to the affair tonight. Freebie. The question remains over and over again.
So, again, this was 1999, if I'm not mistaken. This was 1999 when Jesse Jackson spoke and introduced Donald Trump. And he wasn't, quote unquote, racist then, and he was in a room full of black folk. So, I just don't get it. You know what I mean? I don't get how, us as black people we just call each other names and, I don't know. But just for being in a disagreement or not quite, going along with the status quo, we're a special type of folks, that's for sure. I mean, that's why I think God gives us so much mercy because we should be on something. We should be on something different, Joe, guys, something different. It's the stuff that I see, man, just be crazy. It just be crazy. But with that being said, you guys, I am getting ready to get out of here. I just wanted to come on tonight. Tomorrow, I will be coming back on tomorrow night and having fun. I just wanted to wet my whistle again because if I'm going too long, to break the cobwebs off. But I just wanted to come back on and have a good time for a minute. Michigan, we finally breaking this cold weather and hopefully, in the Detroit metro area, we finally breaking this cold weather and hopefully real soon we get some heat coming up in this joint. We get back to being 70, mid 70s, hitting the 80s, whatnot, and get some good weather and some green foliage on the ground, sun shining. You know what I mean? And just thought, I really need it. I really need it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about you guys, but who are in the Midwest that's probably listening, but I need some sunshine. I need some green trees and green grass. I want to just look up. I just want to smell the grass. I want to smell the flowers. I just want to smell some fresh air. You know what I mean? I want to, you know, let the wind blow and it not be feeling like it's about to make my fingers fall off, you know what I mean? And roll around in the car and had a window down. Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm looking forward to, just trying to have a decent little couple months of summer that we get, you know what I'm saying? And just ease my mind, because in 2025, as I call it, I was about to say 15, was a roughie. It was the roughest year that I had to encounter so far. So it was a trying and find out type of year to me. Try and find out, basically, and finding out type of year for me. So it was a wild one, but got through it, man. You know, pulled through. So with that being said, you guys keep God first, family second, and you third. In that order, you should never be made last, because the last is made first. Thank you for everybody that joined, came in sporadically, you know. YouTube bounced up a little bit and went down and bounced up and came down again. Facebook interacted pretty decent, a little bit here and there, up and down. But, you know, my key thoughts into anybody that does live streaming is this, or who looks into doing live streaming, that wants to do live streaming. Don't worry about so much as who watches. You know, consistency will bring you maybe a watcher or two, or people that want to engage. Because sometimes it can get kind of, you're like, nobody watching X, Y, Z, and it make you not want to get on, or because you don't have an audience. But it's not about the audience that you have. It's about the audience that you don't have. Understand what I'm saying? It's not about the audience you have. It's about the audience you don't have. And the meaning that it's a lot of people that don't know you're there. So it's about them. So you keep on talking. You keep on doing what you do. You keep on sharing your information, that information that you have, until the people find you. But the only way that people can find you and what you do is that you have to do it. You can't just be like wanting to do some shit and don't do it. You know, so you have to be the person that you want to watch. You know what I mean? So I'm just being the person that I want to watch. Like if I'm sitting there watching somebody, would I be the person that I want to watch? And I try to be educated as far as my talking points or whatever the case may be. And if I don't know everything, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with disagreeing with somebody, but not being disagreeable. You know what I mean? And taking point, or taking, you know, what I can get from somebody and learning from that. You know, nothing wrong with it not knowing, and nothing wrong with disagreeing. So, you know what I'm saying? Some people can't disagree. But I'm about to go eat again, people. And I will see you tomorrow. I hope you guys had a great week. And I'm about to relax, watch some YouTube, and try to stay off Amazon. With that being said, y'all have a good one, guys. And I will get with you tomorrow. Peace.